Welcome to this week's edition of the Wacky News for the week ending August the 10th, 2012. First up, we have some animal stories for you. A state road crew in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, they were out painting double yellow lines on the road when they painted over a dead raccoon. This photo was taken by motorcyclist Sean McAfee, who took it before the mistake could be cleaned up. He said he was laughing so hard he almost crashed. A spokesperson for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation said paint crews usually have a foreman on the job who clears away the dead animals before the paint spraying truck gets there. But this crew didn't have a foreman, and the equipment was too big to turn around in traffic, remove the animal, and repair the paint. Now, we all know that badgers can be mean little devils, but this one just happened to wander into a Sparks, Nevada bottled water convenience store. When authorities arrived, they tried to tranquilize it, but he dodged the dart. The authorities were held at bay for about an hour before the teeth-bearing critter was lured into a cage with cat food. He was returned to the wild north of Reno. Destin Klepacki, his father, and a friend, they were floating on the Kenai River in Alaska when they came upon a bear cub drowning in a whirlpool. They tried to bump the bear out of the whirlpool, but the water caught their boat and they turned in circles as the bear became more frantic. Finally, the current brought their boat up against the bear, and Dustin's father was able to nudge the bear to slower moving water. The bear was able to swim to shore. After hearing an animal's cries, a woman on the outskirts of Hanover, Germany, discovered a red squirrel with its head poking up above ground through a hole in a manhole cover. The police were unsuccessful in trying to push the head back through gently, so they had to remove the manhole cover, and they rubbed olive oil around the squirrel's neck. By holding back its small, tufted ears, they were able to successfully release it. But the happy ending was short-lived. The squirrel died a few hours later, likely due to stress. And one last animal story. The officials in Seaside Park, New Jersey, have a problem with poison ivy, and they're thinking about using goats to get rid of the problem. The owner of the goats thinks it would take about 3 weeks for the herd of 15 to 18 goats to eat all the poison ivy. It would cost between $15,000 to $20,000 because they have to have 2 handlers to come in from Maryland to watch over them. But there's a problem. New Jersey environmentalists, they're worried that the goats might also eat rare plants along the bay. In New York, in 2 Manhattan neighborhoods, pleasure carts were set up by the Trojan Condom Company to give away 10,000 vibrating sex toys. Nearly 300 people had lined up at each of the hot dog-style carts when a city representative told the promoters to shut down because of the crowds. Melanie Henry, who was in line, grumbled that Mayor Bloomberg doesn't want anyone to have fun. She said, "You can't have a giant soda, you can't have a vibrator." But Melanie might be in luck. The city says the promotional event could resume at a later date with the proper permits. Early Wednesday, commuters in Las Vegas were shocked when they saw, hanging from 2 different billboards, a mannequin dangling below on a hangman's noose. The 911 calls started pouring into the Nevada Highway Patrol because the drivers worried that the stiff black-suited dummies swaying at the end of the ropes were real people. One of the signs read, "Dying for work." The other read, "Hope you're happy, Wall Street." The 2 billboard companies that were affected said they did not know who put the signs up, but they immediately took them down along with the dummies. No one has publicly claimed responsibility for the signs, but the Occupy Las Vegas group, which is affiliated with the larger Occupy Wall Street movement, did post photos of the displays on their website. Police have charged 21-year-old Randall Smith of Temple Hills, Maryland, and 18-year-old Artie Goodwine of Memphis, Tennessee, with robbing 2 other men in Indiana, Pennsylvania, by claiming they were recording a video for a reality TV show called "You Just Got Robbed." One of these idiots was recording everything on a cell phone while the other one put the men in headlocks. They weren't too successful. They only got $20 off of one of the victims. 40-year-old Lowell Turbin of Clinton, Tennessee, became very angry when he saw a photo of a man he didn't recognize on his girlfriend's Facebook page. He smashed the laptop against the wall and then punched his girlfriend. On Friday morning, he was still in the Anderson County Jail northwest of Knoxville. The photo that Lowell saw on his girlfriend's laptop, and you won't believe this, it was Republican presidential contender Mitt Romney. Roger Payan, 34, of Newport, Vermont. He's been arrested for running over 7 police cruisers with his tractor. He now faces 7 counts of unlawful mischief and 3 other charges for crushing cruisers belonging to the Orleans County Sheriff's Department in the town of Derby. The motive for the crushing is still under investigation, but the state police have estimated the damages to be approximately $250,000. While checking for suspicious packages, Rome airport security personnel were shocked when a human body showed up on their X-ray. They rushed to the baggage conveyor belt, and there they found a 36-year-old unnamed Norwegian man curled up in the fetal position, drunk and asleep. They say the man had traveled on the belt for 15 minutes after getting on it next to an unmanned check-in desk. He was taken to the hospital to be checked over because of concerns he may have been injured by exposure to the powerful X-rays. He is now being investigated for causing alarm. No one seems to want to take the blame for what happened to Steph Horwitz. He had ordered through a Amazon.com third-party seller a 39-inch flat-screen TV. But when a rectangular package arrived, Steph knew it wasn't the television, but he thought maybe it was just a TV stand or accessories, and the actual TV would arrive later. When he opened the package, he was surprised it wasn't TV accessories or a TV stand, but it was a military-grade semi-automatic rifle. He immediately called the police, and they confiscated the gun and told him it was illegal in the District of Columbia to handle such a weapon. Seth contacted Amazon, UPS, the seller, and his credit card company. At first, he said no one claimed any responsibility. He believes the mix-up was a shipping error, especially since there were multiple UPS labels on the box and an invoice inside indicating that the company, gunbuyer.com, intended for it to be delivered to a gun store in Dunsville, Pennsylvania. Seth said, "I got my money back, and I'm happy to be absolved of the situation at this point." 48-year-old Tony Carano of Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania, was an avid bowler before he became ill with terminal prostate cancer. His only perfect game of 300 was bowled using a Storm bowling ball. Tony's wife, Stacy, called Storm Products Incorporated of Brigham City, Utah, when he began wondering if the bowling ball company could make a bowling ball urn for his ashes. Company official Mike Stewart says Storm was honored by the request and has since delivered the ball. 67-year-old Lin Chen of Ningbo, China, has taken matters into her own hands. Chen has been annoyed for some time that local police were not catching speeding motorists outside her home. So she bought a blow-up sex doll and dressed it in sexy red underwear and tied it to a tree outside her home. Chen explained, "There are a set of traffic lights near my house, and the cars just shoot through them as fast as they can. It's very dangerous. The police aren't interested, so I bought this doll and tied it to the tree. I thought the drivers would slow down if I could give them something worth looking at." Police admit that accident figures have dropped since Chen made the dummy. A police spokesperson said, "It isn't a method we would use, but we can't say it isn't working." That's a wrap for this week. Be sure to join us next week for more wacky news.